Hare Krishna. We continue reading from teachings of Queen Kunti. We are on prayer 13, which is in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 30. Janma karma cha vishwatman ajasya kartur atmanaha tirya nrishishu yada su tad atyanta vidambanam. Of course, it is bewildering, O soul of the universe, that you work, though you are inactive, and that you take birth, though you are the vital force and the unborn. You yourself descend among animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is bewildering. So we'll hear the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The transcendental pastimes of the Lord are not only bewildering, but also apparently contradictory. In other words, they are all inconceivable to the limited thinking power of the human being. So the activities of the Lord, if we try to understand with our mind, we can't just understand them. Why? Because, it appears to contradict, appears to be so contradictory, not only bewildering, but contradictory. In other words, they're all inconceivable to the limited thinking power of the human being. So why are they appearing contradictory to us? Because we are thinking with our mind, and our mind is material. And because it's material, it is limited. And we are trying to approach the unlimited with the limited. And so it appears bewildering. It appears inconceivable. The Lord is the all-pervading supersoul of all existence, and yet he appears in the form of a boar among the animals, in the form of a human being as Rama, Krishna, etc., in the form of a rishi like Narayan, and in the form of an aquatic like a fish. Yet it is said that he is unborn and he has nothing to do. So here, the Lord is said unborn, and here he's appearing in human being, he's appearing as a fish, he's appearing as a boar, as a rishi. So what's happening? And he is supposed to be the all-pervading super soul. All-pervading means everywhere, super soul of all existence. And yet he's here in this form. If we try to think with our mind, we are going to break our minds. It seems so inconceivable. And because it is said that he's unborn and he has nothing to do. In the Shruti mantra, it is said that the Supreme Brahman has nothing to do. No one is equal to or greater than him. He has manifold energies and everything is performed by him perfectly by automatic knowledge, strength, and activities. So the Supreme Brahman, we have things to do, Without doing something, we won't be even able to maintain the body. Supreme Brahman, he has nothing to do. Nothing to do at all. And no one is equal to or greater than him. And he has these energies, manifold energies. And then everything is performed by him perfectly by automatic knowledge, strength, and activity. Now, for us to gain knowledge, we have to hear, then we will get knowledge. We have to study, then we get knowledge. But the Supreme Lord, he doesn't have to hear from anyone. He has knowledge. All knowledge comes from him. He's the original spiritual master. It's not that he has to hear from someone. No, he has it. It's him. Strength. We go to the gym, we do weights, and we do different exercises to get strong. But the Lord, he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't have to lift weights to lift the universes on his head as Ananta Shesh or pick up the Govardhan hill. No. Right? Activity, all the activities that he performs are perfectly performed. All these statements prove without any question that the Lord's activities, forms, and deeds are all inconceivable to our limited thinking power. And because he's inconceivably powerful, everything is possible in him. So if our mind, if we try to understand these things, we are going to bewilder ourselves. We won't be able to able to understand this. Why? Because our mind is very limited. We think we are great and we think we know everything, but after all, the mind is material. It's not spiritual. It's not unlimited. The mind is, after all, limited, you know. And then, but if we try to understand that the Supreme Lord is inconceivably powerful, that is his quality. He has these inconceivable, amazing, amazing potencies by which he can do everything. So all inconceivable things find their solution in the Supreme Lord. When we understand, he has inconceivable powers. He's inconceivably powerful. He's unlimited. So for sure he can do these things. Why not? Therefore, no one can calculate him exactly. Every action of the Lord is bewildering to the common man. He cannot be understood by the Vedic knowledge, but he can be easily understood by the pure devotees because they are intimately related with him. The devotees therefore know that although he appears among the animals, he is not an animal or a man or a rishi or a fish. He is eternally the Supreme Lord in all circumstances. So Krishna says, Bhaktyamam abhijanati, that only by devotional service can you understand me. That you will not be able to find me in the Vedic hymns. By Vedic knowledge, you will not, it will be very difficult for you to find me. He says that. But if you engage in devotional service, very easily you will be able to understand me. He says, as you surrender to me, I reveal myself to you. That is devotional service. That is devotional service, surrendering to Krishna. Try understanding that, Krishna, I need your help too. Otherwise, I can't understand you. If I try by my mind, by my own mental capacity, I'm trying to measure you, I will never be able to do that. Won't be able to measure you. But by your mercy, you can reveal to me. And that is bhakti. By bhakti. That's why he said, easily understood by the pure devotees. Krishna can be easily understood by pure devotees because there's a loving relationship there. The pure devotee wants to serve Krishna. So Krishna reveals himself to the pure devotee. He wants to be with Krishna. So Krishna reveals himself. Krishna says, Ye mam prapadyante tam tatheva bhajamyaham. As one surrenders, I reveal myself accordingly. So the more we surrender to Krishna, the more we will be able to understand his position. So the devotee understands that although the Lord is appearing sometimes in the form of a human being, sometimes as an animal, sometimes as a rishi, he is the Supreme Lord in all circumstances. He is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead eternally in all the circumstances. So it's only through bhakti, by devotion, can be able to understand the position of the Supreme Lord. That also we cannot understand him in full because he's unlimited. We can understand to the degree he reveals himself. He kindly reveals himself. To that degree we can know. Or I say, oh, I'm going to do bhakti and I will measure the full limit of Krishna, how understand him fully. No, how much ever he reveals himself, to that degree we can understand. Kunti addresses Krishna as Vishwatman, the vital force of the universe. In everyone's body, there is a vital force. That vital force is the Atma, the living being, the living entity, the soul. It is because of the presence of that vital force, the soul, that the whole body works. Similarly, there is a supreme vital force. That supreme vital force is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we are inside our body. And that's the reason this body is active, moving about. The moment we leave this body, it becomes a dead body. So because the vital force, the soul, we are here, so the whole body is working. Now, there is a supreme vital force, a supreme soul, and that supreme soul, that supreme vital force is Krishna. It's Krishna. It's the vital force of the universe. The universe is not working because of me. No, it is working because of Krishna. Krishna. Janma karma, in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, the Lord says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti. So Arjuna, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities, does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. O Arjuna. In this verse, the word divyam especially indicates that the Lord's appearance and activities are spiritual. Divyam, janma karma chame divyam. The Lord's appearance and activities are spiritual. And elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Ajo api san avya yatma. The word aja means unborn, and avya yatma means not subject to destruction. This is the nature of Krishna, whose transcendental nature is further described by Kunti Devi in her prayers to the Lord. So Krishna says that one who can understand the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities. So we are trying to understand about so many great personalities. You know, there is a famous person, we have like to follow them, we like to understand what they're doing, like to understand the history, how, where they were born, try to know about them. So the greatest personality who we should try to learn about is Krishna. Why? Because his activities and his appearance are transcendental. And just by trying to understand that, what happens? That once we leave this body, we don't need to come back to this material world. We go back home, back to Godhead. It attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. It's instant liberation, going back home, going back home. So, because we do like to, some people that we are inspired by or we admire, then we try to understand them, what they are doing, why they are doing, try to understand their activities. So Krishna is saying, you try to understand my activities, my nature. Why? Not because I'm going to gain anything. No, you will gain out of it. You can get liberated. You will understand my position. You will understand your position, and you can come back home. So, and Prabhupada is saying the word divyam is important because our activities in this material world, our birth in this material world is not transcendental. It's material, although we are spiritual. But because we are thinking we are the body, we are doing all our activities on the platform of the body. So our activities are material. Our birth is material because we take a material body. So if we try to follow a great person's birth or his activities, it's still material, not transcendental. So it's still going to keep us here in the material world. In fact, it will help us to stay longer in the material world. It will elongate our time in the material world. But Krishna, his appearance and activities are not material. They are divyam. They are transcendental. They are spiritual. So whatever we associate with, we take on that qualities. So if we try to associate with Krishna by hearing about him, by chanting his names, then we are reviving our original spiritual consciousness. And so with that, we don't need to be here in this material world anymore. We go back home, back to Godhead. Krishna, his nature, Aja, he's unborn and he's not subjected to destruction. Krishna is not born as we take our birth in this material world. He appears. He appears. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. In every atom of the universe. He can manifest himself at any time he likes. So he appears. And so he's unborn, and avyayatma means not subject to destruction. When Krishna comes, when he's here in the material world, his form is his eternal, transcendental form. It's not a material form, not that for us that we, the soul, we are the soul and we have to give up this body. And so at some time, this body will be dead and decomposed and not exist anymore. No, Krishna's form, he comes in his original spiritual form, and that is eternal. He does not change his bodies. He has expansions. He has many, many expansions, and they're all transcendental. None of them are material. Is that okay?
Yes.
Any questions or comments?
No.
So we can see lately we have been hearing this, trying to understand Krishna's transcendental nature, of Krishna's appearance and activity. These past few days we have been reading in all the books this point. Just try to understand this. And once you understand it, you don't need to come back to this material world. And how to understand? By devotional service, he's saying. We can't understand with our mind. If we think, oh, with our mind, I will try to understand it. No, by devotional service. By hearing and chanting about Krishna from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, by chanting his names. So, and when we are hearing from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, when we are trying to understand what he's saying in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, that is not mental speculation. That is putting good use of the mind and intelligence, because we are trying to understand Krishna's instructions. That is spiritual. So we are hearing what he's saying, and we are trying to understand what he's trying to say. So that is not approaching Krishna with the mind. When we are reading Bhagavad Gita, discussing about it, trying to, use the intelligence of what is being said, that is not on a that is not mental speculation. That is hearing. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, thank you so much for listening and joining in.
Thank you.
Kunti Maharani ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta ki jai, Hare Krishna.